Now that I'm here, which I'm extremely blessed and fortunate to be here, and it is not just because of white knuckle work ethic, grinding. It's because of access to relationships, access to information, inspiration, and the transferable tacit knowledge I've had from being an athlete into this. Okay, so I'm just being real with you guys, and all of these different things. I could tell you that my success isn't on accident, so I could retrace my steps. But then I'm also looking at what is the next iteration of this. And again, I'm speaking to people in a Western context, okay, where you are trying to figure out your assignment, your career, these sorts of things. Okay, if you're not in a Western context, or if you are not of able body and sound mind, I may not be able to translate and transfer this information to you in the same way. Okay, so I got to always give that preface. So when I'm looking at specifically what I do, I have to think of the next season, and I got to then look and take inventory and go, okay, who are the guys that do this, that go not just 3 to 5 years, which is the average lifespan of your favorite YouTuber, but they're going decades. I got to take a self-inventory of those guys. Who are those guys? It's not a lot of them, right? It's not a lot of them. There's really only a handful of it, and it usually turns into some sort of variety show where there's a podcast, and so we're incorporating this, right? There'll be a time, probably in the foreseeable future, where you might pop into an after party stream and not even see me in one of these. Why? Because we're developing personalities and we're developing talent, and we're thinking of how do we scale this so that I'm not the bottleneck of this operation. Because if I just let my plan be the driving force, it will continue to fail, as it has repeatedly. I have to consistently keep leveling up, and so do you. And whatever it is that you're attempting to do. For example, I went today to get my blood drawn. It was a lot of blood, okay? It was like, she said 35 tubes. I'm not a big needles guy. I'm not a big blood guy, but I'm not a wussy either. I could figure it out. I could tough it out. So I just kept closed my eyes. And I was talking to the lady, trying to make small talk, because I really wanted to get through it. And I was asking her about being a phlebotomist. She said, yeah, this is a great career path. I was asking specifically about my niece, who's thinking about becoming a phlebotomist. Now, this is the crazy part about phlebotomists is the ladies that draw your blood. And she said, yeah, this is a great career path if someone is looking to get into nursing, if someone is looking to get into the medical field, if someone is looking to become a doctor, this is a great on-ramp. And I said, interesting. Okay. And some of you guys don't know this, but like, you can go get certified as a phlebotomist in a relatively short window of time. I think you could find like a course that's like a week or to a weekend long. And it's like $1,000. And the entry level pay for a phlebotomist is like $25 to $30 an hour, probably more in Southern California. So if you're in a space right now where you're like, yo, I want to go be a RN, but I can't pause my entire life to go be a RN. So maybe what I do is I go become a phlebotomist, and I develop some of the skills of working with patients and getting certified and doing all these different things. And then I'm going to make above average money, and then I can go and pay my way through school to become an RN or go to medical school. You see what I'm saying? And so it's the same way with everything else, right? It's the same way with anything else. Maybe what you do is you go, hey, I want to be a YouTuber. Great. But you don't know how to just start it. Okay. Start editing videos. Shorts, great place to start. Start reaching out to your favorite creators. See if they need any help. So then what? Then you take that and you connect it. And maybe you go work for a YouTuber for a season. Learn everything there is to learn, right? And that becomes a more direct path than maybe starting on your own and taking on a financial risk. If we're talking about plans, just know that your plans have to be established by God. If it's all about you and your kingdom and how great you are and how smart you are and your name on the wall and all these different things, it's going to be very short-sighted. And so we got to change. We got to change how we view these things, friends. We got to change our own paradigm and how we've conflated purpose with career and work. And then if you want to be successful in career and work, take a self-inventory and say, am I actually learning scarce skills that the market deems valuable, where I'm following the opportunities and letting my passion drive that? If you're not, well, then that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. And if you're not, and you're complaining about struggling and being broke, you know what changes you got to make. Right? Like if I was going down the path of being a rapper and I'm a starving artist and all these different things, and my art has to be this idol to me and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But I know that that's not sustainable for me or my family. So a change had to happen. Change had to happen. Same thing with YouTube. I knew that me just being a one-man show for YouTube wasn't going to work long-term. So what did I do? The very moment that I could bring on Zach, I reinvested the money that I was generating from YouTube when we brought on Zach full-time, paying him a livable wage in Southern California, right? And the moment we could bring on Chris, we brought on Chris. We hired another full-time guy, and so now there's margin. Now Zach can go take 2 weeks off because they just had a baby, and me and Chris can hold down the fort for 2 weeks and make sure everything is going and maintaining and everything is thriving and flourishing, right? And then what are we doing next? We're going to bring on my nephew, right? And so I'm consistently reinvesting. I'm consistently scaling. And so I wanted to speak to this because I know this is a pain point for a lot of you guys. I know this is a pain point. I know career, finances, all of these different things are a pain point. And here's the deal. It's not easy. None of this stuff is easy. It's actually hard, but it's simple. Simple but not easy. I'm just your big brother from a decade from now. That's all I am. I'm just a season ahead of you. I'm no guru. I'm just 38. I've been married for 15 years. Okay. I figured out some things. We're doing multiple 6 figures here. Probably going to scale to 7 figures within, I would say, the next 6 to 12 months, God willing. Right? So that's where I'm at. So I want to take some time for all you guys, and maybe we'll go over to Patreon and open up the lines and talk to you guys. But I wanted to put that out there because I think a lot of us need to make a change. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to our newest YouTube channel, Mastermind My Business, the channel where you get access to information on how to create, how to grow, and how to learn. But I wanted to show you something kind of crazy. Over 71% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please consider subscribing, turning that bell notification on so you don't miss anything. All right? I appreciate you. A lot of us need to take self-inventory. And by the way, some of you guys are doing some goofy, dysfunctional stuff in your personal life because you actually haven't been doing anything we talked about. And so you're just kind of floating through life and no direction, no idea where you're going. No trajectory, no hope, no inspiration, no relationships, no community. And then you're wondering why you can't stop looking at, you can't stop drinking, or you can't stop smoking, or you can't stop overeating because you have no vision, because there's no inspiration, there's no information, there's no transformation happening. That's where the law of replacement comes in. The law of replacement is I need to replace these vices so that I can replace the time that I'm looking at and doing all this goofy stuff with actually pursuing the things that God has for me in this season. That's going to look different for everybody. Some of you guys, you got to figure out what is that thing right now in this season. What do I need to do? Some of you guys, if you're younger, man, one of the best things you could do is, hey, go get in shape. Go take care of your body. Learn what it's like to put on muscle. Why? Because it's just a metaphor for the rest of life. If you could understand what that looks like, you can understand that if you adjust your eating and you adjust your movement, you could transform your body. Well, that becomes a metaphor for what you can do for the rest of your life, right? Some of you guys, you're young, you're newlywed, you're married, you want to have kids, but you don't want to pay someone else to raise your kids with the child care system. So maybe you should get out of debt. Maybe you should figure out a way to get locked in, to save up an emergency fund, get out of debt. And that one thing all of a sudden becomes the catapult to everything else. That one, the power of habit calls it a keystone habit, becomes the catalyst to everything else. You get out of debt, all of a sudden your marriage is better. All of a sudden there's less tension in your marriage. You get out of debt, all of a sudden you realize how to hustle, how to earn more money, how to budget your money so you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Boom, you get out, then you're like, oh, that thing that was just a hobby, I turned into a side hustle. Why? Because we needed to get out of debt. That's literally how my music career took off. I couldn't just chase fantasies. I couldn't just, I'm a starving artist. No, I gave myself a year in the middle of us getting out of debt, and I told my wife, I said, hey, I can't be in the same place next year that I am this year with music. If I am, you have to hold me accountable and tell me to stop. This is 2011. My New Year's Eve, 2010, 2011. Right? And a year later, I think we went from making like a couple grand a year to making like 20 grand a year off of music. And I had like a bunch of shows booked, 35 shows booked at colleges. And so you start taking inventory of these things and you start saying, well, I'm getting out of debt and I got to take these things. So you see how one focus of vision can adjust everything else, right? If you're younger, consider fitness. If you're newlywed, consider cleaning up your finances. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. So I'm not giving you absolute prescriptions. I'm just saying these are things I've done in my life. I know this stuff is sensitive. I know this stuff is uncomfortable. I know the economy is rough. I know a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. I know there's uncertainty. I know the cost of living is going up. I know inflation is real. I know it's scary. Yo, love the content. Doesn't tech count as a way to develop rare and valuable skills and use it to leverage God? Yeah, tech for Christ. Absolutely tech. Technology, sales of technology, learning technology, learning coding, all of those things are absolutely scarce skills. I told you guys this before, Course Careers. It's a $500 boot camp. Some of you guys don't know what to do. Course Careers, $500 boot camp. You could take a $500 boot camp. I think it's 30 to 90 days. Most people take longer. At the end of the 30, 90 days, the people that finish, which is only 30%, out of those 30%, 90% actually get placed in jobs. 90% get placed in jobs. The starting job is between 50 and 70K base salary, B2B, business to business tech sales. So I totally think, and that's not even the you got to learn to code. That's just straight learning to sell. I mean, that's huge. And again, check out my brother Cyrus from Tech is the New Black. There's a lot of folks that are getting into tech sales and are crushing it right now. Folks driving Uber and Lyft, barely getting by, to making 60, 70, 80K a year and then just continuing up. So those would be the things I would recommend. Anything around tech, anything around sales, anything around creative marketing stuff. Or if you're like, yo, I'm not really on that, I'm not the most tech savvy, cool. Go see about getting certified as a plumber, getting certified. The true collar and the blue collar skills are great. Hey, this is a segment from our daily after party stream. Consider partnering with us online for as little as $5 a month to get access to these daily after party streams completely unedited. You'll also get access to our podcast as they are streamed live into the community before anyone else gets to see them, get to interact with our guests, get access to our private Discord server, and a discount code for our store for as little as $5 a month. Ultimately, that will help towards helping us continue contextualizing the gospel using media and podcast here on YouTube. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.